Oh, I didn't see you there.
What's up, YouTube? Cliff and Pete here with the Sunday Drive. Today, fish. Yes, you are.
You need to stop.
Doing it. Oh, I'm gonna leave. All right, guys. So today we're gonna be installing the headache rack from Magnum Manufacturing on my 2014 Silverado 1500. Here we go. All right, so I've kicked Pete's Corvette out of his garage. If you have a bed liner, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is go ahead and remove that because you're gonna need to access these where the pocket tie downs are. T20 Torx bit for the GM truck bed. All right, so these are what the screws look like. All right, so there's one on either side of the back. This one fell out, and then you have 6 along the front here. As I'm taking this off, it does look like GM's had some silicone or something around here. It's completely dry rotted at this point, so when you put these back in, you should put some silicone in the hole before you put them back. If you have the GM or the bed rail lighting, you just need to be careful of this as you're pulling out your bed liner that you don't catch on this and mess up your lights under there. When you get the back release, just lift straight up in the center and it relieves all that pressure on the sides.
Cliff breaking his truck.
There we go. Alright, so that's what your bed liner looks like outside of your truck.
Are we supposed to help him?
He said he got it.
You're going to want to remove these covers that they have here, so I would suggest using like a nylon tool so you don't scratch up your paint. I'm going to just pry this out. Get it behind there. It's on there pretty tight. And once you get your tool behind it, just pops right out. Alright, so this is going to be mounting right in here, like so. This bolt and plate will be mounting right on top of there, and then we're going to be cutting out this area right on top. So if you look over on this side, you can see they already have it pre-marked on the bed rail cover. I'm just going to cut this out. Now, I don't really want to drop that down inside there. So before you finish cutting it out all the way, see if you can see if we can pry this out. There you go. So I'm just going to pull that out so it doesn't fall down inside there and rattle around for the rest of the time I have the truck. Alright. So if you want to look down in there, you can see it's already got a nice cutout for you. Ready to do the same on the other side. And when you're cutting this out, you don't want to go too deep because your painted bed rail is right below this. Alright, so this is the Magnum headache rack that we're going to be installing. It's completely aluminum. I went with the black powder coating option. You can get it a brushed look as well, so if you want that shiny look. You got a wire harness that's going to be connecting up to power these lights. These are made in USA, as this proudly displays. Alright, so the next step is to mount the pocket tie-down connectors. These are 14mm bolts. Now they say when you're installing these, make sure you don't over tighten them. You can see that they have a fitting inside here that you're screwing into. They also said after the first week of using the truck with the headache rack installed, you should go back and re-tighten these. Alright, so these are the instructions. Do not over tighten the bolts, may cause damage to the stake pocket tie down. Do not exceed capabilities of the truck when hauling cargo on this rack. For heavy duty use, we highly recommend additional bolts along with the stock stake pocket tie down installation. First thing you're going to want to do is remove this bottom bolt here. So this metal bracket is going to mount right in here. It's basically a big washer. It's going to mount right there. And I don't want to scratch this paint up, so what I'm going to do is mount some 3M tape on the backside to kind of provide a little cushioning between the bracket and my truck body. Alright, so that should space it out a little bit from the body of the truck. I'll loosely mount that right there. So the first thing I would do is remove both bolts. And the reason you're removing the top bolt is actually just to remove this washer so that you can't accidentally drop it down inside there while you're working. And then we're gonna put this bolt back in so we have something to hold while we're working right here. So you're gonna hold this down inside here. Line this up as best you can. Again, you don't want to over tighten this, and I'm not tightening it all the way right now. All right, so once your pocket tie down connectors are in place, and again, I don't have them super tight, that way I can adjust them so that they line up. You can set up your headache rack. On the bottom, they have these rubber cushioning. So basically it's gonna eliminate any rattles and will also protect the top rail of your bed. And while I'm working up here, I'm just gonna use the packaging that they sent with it to kind of protect the rear of my truck. All right, now down in here, there is a pre-drilled hole. You're gonna line that pre-drilled hole up with your bolt. Don't forget to mount your washer. Basically, you're gonna stick that through there. I'll leave it a little loose so I can line up the other side as well. So the next step you wanna do is reinsert the bed liner. However, I'm gonna be shooting some other videos, so I'm gonna reinstall that later. All right, so if you don't have a toolbox to mount, you're basically done. You have to connect the power connector, which I'm gonna show you guys how to do in a minute, and reinstall your bed liner. However, I do have a toolbox I'm gonna install, so I'm gonna show you guys how to do that part next. Now, if you have a toolbox you're gonna be mounting, Magnum Manufacturing also sells these standoffs, and basically this evens your toolbox out with the headache rack. So as you can see, your headache rack is up higher than your bed rail. So when you get this, it's gonna even out your bed rail for you. So they have 3M tape that will adhere this to your bed rail, and then your toolbox will sit up on top of this so that it's even with this. Now obviously you're gonna have to remove these bolts at this point once you're sure everything's lined up the way it needs to be. All right, now before I mount the toolbox up here, I don't wanna scratch up the powder coating on my headache rack. So I purchased some rubber weather stripping that I'm gonna mount right here. It's got a sticky side, I'm gonna mount it right on here, so as we set the toolbox down on here, it's not gonna scratch up this surface. That should protect that. We'll do the same on the other side. And you can purchase this weather stripping at any hardware store. I got this at Home Depot. That'll also help eliminate any rattles, because anytime you have metal on metal contact with a vehicle, you're gonna have rattles, so this will help eliminate that as well.
Yeah.
Captain!
Actually, at the end of the video, I want to...
You have power!
Alright, so here's the bolt. Here's the hole. Bolt does not fit.
No.
Alright, so I'm going to use a 7/16 drill bit to drill the hole in my toolbox to mount the bolt that's going to mount to the headache rack. Alright. Beautiful.
Red light flashing?
Clear over there. Again, you don't want to over tighten this. Once you got that done, you want to go under here and tighten this bolt up the last little bit. I'm just going to peel up the excess from this and cut off that because we don't need that there, obviously. All right, so don't do that.
In the next video, removing Cliff's truck bed to get the thing that he dropped.
The last part of doing your headache rack, you're gonna need to wire up your harness. So we're gonna show you guys how to do that right now.
What are you doing, bud?
I got it. The incorrect socket does not go here. And don't close it.
So this is the harness that's coming off of the headache rack. Just feeds out right through the body, so there's no wires visible on this rack itself. You're just gonna tuck this back through here and feed this down to the bottom of your truck. All right, when you're ready to start recording. All right, so this is the factory harness where you're gonna plug in your new headache rack using the provided wire harness. So you gotta remove this gray clip right here. Comes out. Now you're gonna push down on that pin right there, move this. Now normally your spare tire is mounted right here, so we lowered the spare tire so you have a lot more room to work. It's much easier. So I do suggest doing that. And if you need to know how to lower your spare tire, watch the video at the link right below. All right, so this is the factory harness that we just unplugged. This is gonna slide in, only goes in one way. It's gonna go in there, clips in right up here. All right, and now we're gonna plug this harness in. So again, this also only goes in one way. Alright, got that in. Now you're going to reinsert that gray clip right here. Inserts right like that, so it locks that in place. Now just to give you some perspective, this is your rear license plate right here. We're right off to the right side of that. So that's the area we're working. And now we're going to take this harness and route it back up to where the headache rack is. All right, so I just routed the cable from the back up to the cable from the headache rack. So you can see this is it snaking down from the top right there. It's right behind this rubber seal. Just route the cable all the way from the rear. You just follow the existing wiring. And you're gonna plug that in right here. And then I suggest wrapping this with electrical tape just to keep any water or moisture out of there. Or if you have heat shrink, you could use that as well.